We are eating up in our pantry. I said all that just to say I have some corn. Now, this is the only kind of corn I have left, this kind. And then I canned this Fiesta corn. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to try it. So what happens? I do a lot of canning. For the years, I did so much canning that I didn't even get to sample all of my food. We're opening things up. We're opening the cupboards up. We're getting food out. We're going to taste it. If it's something we don't like, I'm getting rid of it. Before, I would be like, oh, I don't know if I like this, and then I would never try it. Well, now we are down to bare bones. I can honestly tell you, we are down to bare bones budgeting. The bare bones budgeting I had way before YouTube. I'm back at that again. And while it's a little bit anxiety provoking to have to pinch the pennies so much, it is a life lesson that I had learned then, and I'm learning it again today. So we have this, we have some chicken, we have some home canned chicken broth. I am making chicken noodle soup, and I am going to be making my own homemade noodles today. Basically, we're just going to put all of this into the kettle, and then we're going to cook it, and then we're going to season it. And I'm basing the chicken noodle soup off of this cookbook. This is a really neat cookbook. It's a cookbook that's really for whole foods and chicken noodle soup. Now it calls for celery. I'm going to go ahead and get some of my canned celery and put in with it. It just tastes like regular corn to me. All right, now we're going to get some celery and we're going to cut up some carrots. The carrots in the soup. And then, of course, we're going to add some seasoning to this. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the soup on the wood stove. I think we can cook it that way. One of my favorite cookbooks is this tiny little cookbook, and it is Pennsylvania Dutch Cooking. And I have a lot of the pages marked because this is something I like to use. We are going to be making a pot pie dough. It's so simple. It's 3 tablespoons of shortening, 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, an egg, and about a half a cup of milk. So we're going to go ahead and mix the dough, and then I'm going to use my Kitchenaid, and we're going to make noodles with it. For mixing noodles, it's easiest for me just to use my hands, but you can use a pastry cutter. So this is not like bread dough. You're not going to knead it. The little bit, this is not like bread dough. You're not going to knead it. The little bit amount is the best, so don't want to handle it too much. Now we don't want to add too much milk, so we're going to add a little at a time. Looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and clean up here, and then we'll start making the pot pie noodles. Now I am going to probably make them in like regular noodles and not pot pie squares, because I am going to be using my Kitchenaid and the attachment with the pasta maker. All right, let's go ahead and clean up, and then let's start making these. So here are my homemade noodles. Now you could dry these it would take about 12 to 15 hours. But I am not drying them. I'm actually going to be using them in today's soup. So once the soup starts to boil, then I'm going to go ahead, and the carrots are finished. So the carrots are done cooking. Then I'll add this at the very end. And then I also will add some seasonings as too. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this messy kitchen while the soup is cooking. And then we'll all come back here and we'll sit around the table and we'll have some lunch. I'm also going to have some, I think I have some tomato, rosemary, garlic bread in the freezer. So we'll have that all together. As I was editing this video, there was a big part I was going to edit out. Then I said to my husband, I said, Kenny, come look at this. He said, you know what, Tessie, I would leave it in. You know, some people would say this is a blooper if you're very professional, but to me, I say it's life. This is life, and sometimes when the camera is rolling, you get to see real life, and I think that's what you want to see. So I am including this in today's video at the very end. This is the humor that my husband and I have together, and a lot of times this is in videos, but I delete it simply because, well, it's kind of somewhat embarrassing moments to people outside of our family. But you know what? It's life, and this is life. I just happened to show it on camera for the world to see. Oh boy, everyone, here we go. I tell you what, this soup turned out amazing. Why buy noodles anymore? You can make them. Oh my gosh! That's gonna be our last video for the lifetime. I tell you what, this soup turned out amazing. I don't know why anybody would buy store-bought noodles. I was buying lots of store-bought noodles. The homemade ones are so much better. I ended up using all of the noodles. Homemade noodles are sweet. They have like a sweetness to them. Absolutely delicious. All right, I'm gonna take a minute and eat my lunch, and then I am going to fill up my oil lamps and finish my work for today. So I'll see you just in a second. While I'm sitting here warming myself up because it's really cold yet outside, I want to add a little bit of a commentary to today's video as I edit it. So let's go outside. The sun is back out and it's shining. When the sun is out, it's just a little bit warmer, and I want to share some things with you today. Oh my goodness, it's kind of windy now, but I wanted to show you that blooper because I think that's important to share with you real life. And a big pitfall I had for years on my YouTube channel, not recently, I'm talking years ago, I felt like I had to be prim and proper and everything just had to be just perfect. But that's not real life. And we have humor. My husband is my best friend and we like to have a lot of fun. And a lot of videos are like this. A lot of videos, he's walking back and forth and he's doing his chores and we're silly together. And a lot of times I don't share that with all of you. But it's somewhat, I think, of a change that I have had in my whole personality in these last couple months is I just really have a desire to just be me, share my life with all of you, and that is including some bloopers or where we're silly and we're not proper. But you know what? That is life, and that's the fun part of life. I think so many times I want to edit things so much that I edit out the real nuggets of fun and excitement and just the real daily life and the real life, the little bits that make things fun. And so you will be seeing things like that, and I'll add it to the end of my videos. So those people who want just a nice smooth sailing video, I just think it's refreshing for me because I've learned to be happy in my own skin, and that means, you know, I don't have the perfect clothing, I don't look perfect all the time, you know, I'm just having so much fun being me. And that is such a big difference because my husband, you know, he is who he is and I am who I am, and that makes us who we are. And if we can't be who we are 100% in our videos, then we're not portraying a life that is well lived. We are portraying a fake life, and I don't want to portray that. I want to show you real life, happiness, being silly, you know. So that way when you watch a video, you're like, you know what? Oh my word, my husband is the same way, Tessie. And that way you can build up a friendship that's based around a foundation of being real with all of you. I'm not a TV personality. I'm not on a TV program. I am just me, Homestead Tessie, just a simple girl in this big wide world who just wants to make a difference in one person's life. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Goodbye.